It ended up that they took, what, 80, a tidal wave, like 80...
65
spots in the House, and how many in the Senate? Like 6 or 7 they picked up? Because there was a couple of losses along the way. But it's a battle. It's not status quo. Okay? This is what you're seeing, folks. The Republican establishment, and this is why I will never join the Republican Party or any other political party. I will never join a political party for exactly what you're seeing. Because they will go to the opposite extreme. They will sacrifice their own young just to keep their status quo. Because they're not really interested in America. They're not really interested in their own message. They will go against their own message to keep their own people in office and collecting their own paychecks. It sickens me. And Gingrich is going against it right now. He's facing the machine. And they're well-financed. Romney has millions of bucks. He's waged this tremendous onslaught of negative advertisements. And don't think it's just Gingrich, because if Newt was to get out of the thing, everybody would move over to Santorum. And these things would all be waged against him. What you're seeing is the wage against the conservative movement in their own party, and they don't want it. The establishment wants a moderate. They wanted a moderate. They got Dole. They had McCain, right? And they don't win with these people. These rhinos, they don't win with them. Ugh, I'm disgusted. I can't even watch it anymore. Well, you want to comment on it on your side?
I think they loathe Newt Gingrich because, for so many reasons, that he has such this confusing track record of supporting things and then opposing them and waffling on things, and he was like tossed out as Speaker of the House after 4 years because his own Conservative members turned on him. Everybody who's worked with Newt, pretty much all the big names that I'm aware of, has come out against him. So I think it's much more anti-Newt than pro-Romney. I don't think there's an enthusiastic Romney supporter outside of the Romney family in the country. Like Romney's, milk toast. But I don't see where you think that Gingrich is any more conservative than Romney. Like, Gingrich's track record is all over the map. He's done some conservative things and then lots of non-conservative things. Like, what do you think of Gingrich's plan to build a station on the moon?
It's not his. I think it's a great idea. I think it's a fantastic idea. He's not doing it with federal money. He's doing it with private sector. He's encouraging this private sector to start flying to the moon. And I think that's a great idea. It's a big idea. Google did the same kind of a thing. They put together a contest. Who can get to the moon the fastest? There's an Israeli team that's trying to get it in the private sector, and they're going to give like a financial reward. Gingrich said, "Hey, let's borrow that model. Let's get the government involved. Let's give a reward to the people who can get and put up a whole colony up there." He said, "Let's get 6 takeoffs a day. When you reduce the cost of the jet launcher when it's being used, like right now, like the jet launcher, the rocket launcher costs so much money just to get off the ground. But you wouldn't, because you have like constant traffic going up into the sky. Why can't the U.S. lead the way in that? This will create a lot of private sector jobs. It'll make us at the forefront of technology. I think it's a great idea. Get the private sector to actually sponsor that stuff. Make it so that there's money in it for them. Put an incentive plan in it. He mentioned about Charles Lindbergh. Charles Lindbergh flew across the ocean because there was like $25,000 for the first person that can go across. Look what that did for aerospace. It put together like a whole field today. This is the kind of stuff we need. I like that he did that. I mean, that's not the reason I'm voting for him, but I like that he did that. I think it's a great idea.
Well, I was talking to this hot chick the other night, and she was an enthusiastic Newt supporter. So
yeah,
that started swaying me. I was thinking,
Where did you meet her?
At a social gathering, and
all
sitting around talking politics, and it's really rare to find a Jewish chick who's a conservative.
Are you telling us the truth now?
Yeah, this is serious.
It's not one of these stories that you went back to your place and she was like, Newt. No, this is a real story.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Didn't get anywhere. Didn't try.
That was mentioned in the chat room. They're talking about that his biggest macher is in Las Vegas, right?
Yeah.
I want to mention about this guy. Do you know this guy at all?
Yeah.
This guy Adelson?
Yeah.
It's interesting. He is very, very. He's a Jewish guy. He's very, very pro-Israeli, and I think he's the reason why Gingrich is so pro-Israeli, is because money talks, right?
Yeah,
this guy's
$13 billion.
This guy's giving him all this gelt, right?
Yeah.
And so like this guy is very, very hard line when it comes to Israel.
Yeah.
And he's a good guy too. He created a school over there in Vegas.
Yeah.
It's Glatt Kosher. And this is unbelievable. I mean, does anybody realize this? That the main finance guy behind Newt Gingrich is a Jew from State of Israel who's extremely pro-Israel, right? In the whole situation over there. And he's running a school that's Glatt Kosher. He's got a Glatt Kosher kitchen at his private school in Vegas. It's a Jewish school. You know, does everybody realize that Gingrich is by far the candidate that's going to be the one speaking and most closest to the in things that interest from Jews, right? Jews who are from, right, who keep kosher or whatever, and Jews who have a feeling for the state of Israel, which is basically every right-wing Jew you can find. This guy, you know, it's the guy. This is the guy. This is the guy, and he's for Newt Gingrich. Isn't it also a pleasure to have on the Republican side, you have Jews who are conservative, who care about Israel, care about kosher, and on the liberal side, on the Democrats, you have like the Jews are like the Hollywood moguls, right? Who don't give a damn about Israel, usually are like part of the Palestinian cause.
Sodomites.
Yeah, and then they're married to shiksas, and they give all their money to like, you know, AIDS awareness or something, you know, and it's like that's what you get on the liberal side. On the conservative side, it's like Torah, state of Israel, give the money to the Jews. I think it's great. I think that's worth talking about right there.
I'm wearing my red T-shirt for my trip to Red China.
You actually going to go? You know, there's 70 billion.
If there's money to be made, I'll go.
There's like 70 billion different people living in Beijing. If you're the only teacher,
I'll be busy.
Yeah, wow.
And they're tiny too. They're not very big.
So you could probably get them out of there in half an hour.
Yeah.
All right, so that's all I got. What do you want to talk about next?
Bugs.
You want to go right into bugs?
Yeah.
And then we'll do after that. I'll do the sequel to the liberal Jew thing.
Yeah.
We'll get some Torah. We'll slide some Torah in right now. So what do you want to talk about bugs?
Did I tell you the story about when I was at yoga class and I met this attractive and intelligent Jewish woman? And we start talking, and she asked me what I do for a living, and I talk about the Alexander technique, and then I asked her what she does for a living. She said, well, you might have a problem with this, but my life mission is to persuade people to eat more bugs. And you can see her website, gomeetsbug.com. And she's cute, and she's got all these cooking videos for how to prepare scorpions. And yeah. And I thought,
You know,
I was kind of conflicted because on the one hand she was hot, on the other hand she was into eating bugs. So I did call her, but she like took a week to return my call. So I said, I was totally willing to like betray my principles. And
Can I say something on that? The EU, the European Union, is now putting together a thing. This just came through the wire like the last day that they want to spend like $300 million or something.
Yeah.
To look into start eating insects.
Oh boy!
Because like it's a new we just opened up a whole new door of protein. You know?
Right.
There's like protein in the spider's legs, and they have 8 legs, so that's 8 times more protein. You know? And it's like, who fucking eats this shit, right? It's like everything in the God says that everything in the Torah that He says you can't do, He's going to give you a desire to want to do, right? So, like, if he says, like, you know, don't eat blood, so you have a desire to eat blood, right? If he says don't eat an insect, that means you have a desire to eat an insect. I'm sorry, I just can't arouse an interest in eating bugs.
So you'd rather have sex with a guy than eat a bug? Yeah, you got to be consistent with other things you said on the show, because you can't arouse any interest in eating a bug. So
I guess it's the same thing that, okay, you may not have any interest in eating a bug now, but you never know later in your life you might.
Right.
There could be a time when you're just like, wow, that's a really tasty looking ant there.
Oh. Oh. Anyway, there's a big Jewish Journal cover story about the high price of kosher lettuce because of the